Hi Caitlin, how you doing? So, as you know, last weekend I went to this thing called Lazy F, which was a leadership retreat for everyone who is involved with RHA, which is just the Resident Hall Association. So Emily and I went to that, and I have to say I feel like it's gonna be like one of my favorite experiences of freshman year, if not my whole 4 years here at Central. It wow, it just what I learned, and like I grew closer to people that I didn't really know, and then I got closer to Emily, and I feel like Emily got closer to me over this trip. And it was just a great experience, and I really just wanted to make a long video talking about it, like what we did there and just like the overall experience. Because if any of you are involved with leadership, this might help out with like program ideas or something. So yeah, let's get started. So basically, to kind of expand on like what I learned, was just kind of like there's like different ways to be a leader. There like to be a leader, you don't need to be the typical like extroverted out there type of person. You can be kind of more of like the internal, like small leader, just kind of like taking over like smaller projects to help like the bigger picture. And just it's crazy like what you can learn about people in just like 2 days, or in just like a 24-hour period. So what I really want to talk about, kind of like, and it ties in like with what I learned, were some of the programs that they had there, that we put on. Like one of like the things that we do is we always do, or there's always like a skit. You kind of like parody your RHLC meeting, and it had to involve time travel because that was the theme for this trip, was time travel. Just like seeing like how like the other art, like seeing how like unserious everyone can be, like how much people don't mind making fun of themselves, was kind of really a great thing to see. Because you kind of, there's something about like making fun of yourself in front of people, like not taking yourself seriously. It just kind of, I don't know, it's just like this weird bonding thing. I don't really know how else to explain it. But there's also this other program that was, I think it was, yeah, it was like, basically there's like a zombie conflict resolution thing where basically you had to try and survive the zombie apocalypse through conflict resolution, and every decision had to be a unanimous decision, and if you took too long, someone died. And I thought it was a really creative way to get through how to solve problems effectively, without it being like some really boring PowerPoint. It was like a choose your own adventure type thing. And I thought that was just really effective, and I'm having Ben and Josh, the two dudes who put it on, bring it into Bardo, because I'm thinking, okay, zombies are cool, but learning something from zombies is even better. And it was just a really cool thing to work on. And we also did this thing called Siege Warfare, where there was 3 people on a team. There was like the main person going through like this maze of like chairs. They were blindfolded, and they had like, those like balls that you can get from the dollar store when you like drop them on the ground, they like light up. So that was like the main person going through the maze. There's the captain who had their back facing the maze, and they had to yell out directions to the person who was blindfolded. And then you had the third person who was yelling out, or not yelling out commands, like just kind of motioning which way the person needed to go, so that the captain, who had their back facing, could yell, "Hey, Jesus forward," That was a joke that came from it, because my last name's Jesus, and John, who was the captain at the time, was just going, "Jesus forward," because you had to try and differentiate your voice from everyone else who was yelling. So yeah, but that was like a great way to like show like how different types of communication works, and how effective they are, and like the fact that you have to like listen to people who are telling you kind of like, you need to do this, because sometimes kind of need to just go with who knows what's best. Yeah, and there was also a very emotional thing that I kind of talked about in my vlog called Cross the Line. It started off kind of like joking, like cross the line if you like Pepsi products more than Coke products, But then it kind of got into serious things like cross the line if you've ever had like an eating disorder or cut yourself, you know, and it got really deep. And it went on for like an hour, and it just brought on like a lot of like personal things for me. Emily and I went down to the river, and I just bawled on her shoulder for a good solid hour, you know, and like she started bawling like a little bit, like 10-15 minutes after I started crying, you know, and it was just things like we told each other. It's just, it was like a whole new level of deep. Like, I shared with her things that like I haven't really shared with other people, you know, like, and it got really personal, and it was like a really great thing to talk with someone about finally, because like what I told her, like I just internalized, you know, and like I never talked about it because I never, like I realized how big of a problem it was, but I never really realized how big of a problem all of this was, you know, and it's just finally getting to tell someone about all these things. It was just like a weight lifted off of my shoulders that I hadn't realized was there. And that's all I can really say about that. It was just an amazing thing, you know, just to get closer with people and see what other people are going through, you know. And then the next morning, like our last project was Touch Someone Who. So everyone sat in a big round circle with their eyes closed, and Trisha, who was running the program, would touch 10 people on their shoulders, and they'd get up, and then they'd touch someone who, like, whatever Trisha said, touch someone who's a leader, touch someone who makes you laugh, you know. And just getting those, like, silent, like, affirmations from people was an amazing thing for me because of stuff that's been happening at home, you know. And there's, like, 6 rounds, so, like, you'd sit there for 5. And for every single round, every single thing Trisha said, I got at least 2 taps on the shoulder, and there was something so nice about it because it's like, for me anyways, I'm not really told those things that much, you know, besides like my really close friends, and so having people I don't know that well tell me that I'm a leader, that I'm funny, was just this weird, great experience. And it just goes to show you what people really think of you, and there's just something reassuring in the fact that people you don't know can view you in this positive light, and, or, you know, and it's just reaffirming that you are a good person. You do deserve to believe in yourself because these people believe in you. I almost cried during that too. It was just a really emotional weekend, and just like the overall like experience of it was something so amazingly satisfying, and just I feel like I'm a better person because of it. I mean, I know how cheesy that sounds, but I just feel like so much of a better person, and I feel like I can finally start talking about things. Yeah, and so that's it for this video. I will see you guys next week with another video. Goodbye.